1 week of flight training and these three were ready to solo. We've got an in-depth look at the project.
A reversible prop for a piston single, now you've got to see this. And a wrap-up of Sun and Fun.
Plus, the world's oldest pilot. And a look ahead at the first AOPA regional fly-in of the season. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
It's been called the most sophisticated single-engine airplane ever. But to the people whose loved ones are alive today, it's called a lifesaver. The Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, only from Cirrus Aircraft.
One week from zero to hero, they did it. The three new aviators in the 1 week to solo program all have great stories to tell and a solid aviation foundation. Thanks for choosing AOPA Live this week. I'm Melissa Rudinger.
And I'm Warren Morningstar in for Tom Haynes. So glad you're here with us. Well, it was a bold project. Amidst the joyful chaos of the Sun and Fun Air Show, take three newbies with zero flying experience and get them ready to solo, all to show the world that learning to fly is something anyone can aspire to do.
It's easy to do. You let the airplane do the flying. It's fun, and you're exposing people that really have always had a passion for flying, but never acted on it, and they are. And that's one of the messages I think we need to get to everybody, is that if you've had some interest in flying in your life, now's the time to go do it. It's easier than you think.
Who would think that these three, or really any three people, could accomplish so much in so little time with so many distractions?
There should be more people doing this.
Absolutely.
It just gives you freedom. It's fairly economical.
And that was the whole point of this exercise, to demonstrate that you can fly. It's easy. It's obtainable.
Nose up, about 2-3 fingers above the horizon.
Our trainees did it in 1 week by first learning the skill in the Redbird simulator, then applying it in the easy-to-fly Red Hawk Cessna 172 conversion. And exactly 7 days from their first session in the simulator, with their instructors sitting like silent statues beside them, the trainees took off from Plant City Airport, navigated to Lakeland Linder Airport.
Lakeland Tower, Red Hawk 2, I'm about 3.5 miles out for runway 9 right.
And did a touch and go amidst the busy arrival traffic to Sun and Fun, all on their own.
Nice, man.
Good job, Sherry.
You're the
Good
best.
job.
You are the best instructor ever. I didn't crash the plane, and I brought it down twice. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! It's awesome. Oh, thanks.
And it would be an understatement to say all three are hooked on flying. Sherry, Chris, and Nick all are eager to continue their training and get their certificates. And Sherry is already eyeballing float planes to be able to get to all of the lakes in her home state of Michigan.
So Warren, you spent a lot of time with these fledgling pilots. What surprised them the most?
You know what surprised them the most was the aviation community. They really didn't expect all of the camaraderie and the help and the kind of, support that they got from all of the aviators there at Sun and Fun.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Sun and Fun is always a great time to check out new products, and one is making a splash. Check this out. It's a reversible prop for a piston engine. An MT propeller distributor called Flight Resource has the STC for it on an Aviat Husky. The prop works on an electro-hydraulic switch. It's limited by manifold pressure and RPM, so you can't engage it when you don't want to. It's switched on with the thumb on the throttle. Aviat President Stu Horn says it's a game changer.
With a reversible propeller, you can control the drift against the current, or the speed approaching a pier, or even if you came up and beached, instead of pushing it off and getting wet up to your knees or full of muck, you just put it in reverse and back up.
It adds about $30,000 on the price of a Husky, and it's available for new aircraft and retrofits. Thousands of people made the trip to Lakeland for Sun and Fun 2015. More than 15,000 came through the AOPA tent alone. Great numbers according to our outreach and events team. Some, like longtime AOPA Live This Week viewer Andreas, came from faraway places like Germany.
We've been now here the third time, and it's just the spirit of aviation, the freedom you can feel here in this country. It's incredible, way more than in Europe.
And about 3,000 people came through AOPA's Yellow Activities tent, which is right next to our main tent. They came for ice cream and a town hall with AOPA President and CEO Mark Baker. The chance to cool off with a treat was nice in the Florida heat. Also on tap was Representative Sam Graves of Missouri. He is a big proponent of third-class medical reform, and he's optimistic about it.
We're moving the bill. Timeline is we want to have it done this year. We want to get the Pilots' Bill of Rights passed. We're going to let the Senate move first, and then the House will come along right after it. I don't see much. There's going to be some opposition, but I don't see this bogging down too much. I think we're going to be able to push it on through.
Graves also talked about FAA reauthorization and answered members' questions.
And it's not just members we are talking to about third-class medical reform. Mark got right back to work after Sun and Fun, fighting on Capitol Hill for real progress on medical reform. He told Senate Aviation Operations and Security Subcommittee that regulations hold back the growth of general aviation.
General aviation has a critical point, as evidenced by the trends I've presented here. Of the utmost importance to GA future is a third-class medical reform. More than 3 years ago, AOPA and the Experimental Aircraft Association petitioned the FAA to expand a policy used successfully for more than a decade. The fact that it has taken so long for the FAA to review what is simply a limited expansion of existing standards highlights the need to reform the FAA's procedures.
And from the land of hot air to where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Oklahoma is taking steps to protect general aviation airports from wind turbine developments. Senate Bill 808 has been signed into law. It keeps wind turbines 1.5 miles away from an airport. AOPA worked to make that distance larger. Our regional manager pointed to a study that shows wind turbines can set up a circular wind vortex up to 3 miles away. But the law still is a good step.
Coming up, we check out the AOPA Salinas Regional Fly-In.
And the world's oldest pilot. AOPA Live This Week continues in just a moment.
From your first skyward glance, the dream of flight compelled you. And from your first glimpse of a Cirrus, you realized that dream had a name. Cirrus Aircraft. Go where you've never been before.
Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live This Week.
Well, who doesn't love having a choice? The Lightspeed Foundation wants to hear what you have to say. They've put up a list of finalists for the Pilot's Choice Awards. The 12 charities are vying for up to 10 grand each. Vote at the link on your screen. The grants will be awarded this fall. We are now just 3 weeks away from our first AOPA Regional Fly-In of the year on May 16th in Salinas, California.
It all kicks off Friday evening with a barbecue at the Barnstormers Party. There you can check out the Living in the Age of Airplanes movie. Saturday we'll kick off with a pancake breakfast and Rod Machado.
There's so much more. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran says you should really make a weekend out of it.
Why should you come to the AOPA Fly-In here in Salinas, California? Because we're pilots. And this is paradise.
Beautiful mountains and lush fields surround the Salinas Airport. Salinas is called the Salad Bowl of the United States. For a taste, visit the airport restaurant called the Landing Zone, which features some of the freshest salads you can find. Salinas is the hometown of legendary author John Steinbeck. He wrote Grapes of Wrath and Of Mice and Men. You can visit his childhood home and the National Steinbeck Center in Old Town Salinas. Another nearby attraction is Cannery Row, the title and setting of another Steinbeck book in nearby Monterey. Cannery Row offers a look back at the sardine canneries and fishing village atmosphere. It is also home to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. The aquarium features a close-up look at the marine life just offshore. South of Monterey, Carmel by the Sea, a picturesque European-style village, offers stunning views of the ocean. If you like golf, you won't have to venture far from the Salinas Airport. The Salinas Fairways Golf Course is right at the end of runway 13.
This is my hometown. I'm really proud of this airport. The people here are just magnificent human beings and very passionate aviators. We want to share our home with you called Salinas, California.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Josh. Boy, Salinas looks like a great place to go to. And if you are headed to Salinas, 2 quick but very important things. 1, please head to the address there on your screen and RSVP so that we can expect you. That's so we can have enough food and other goodies. Even more important than that, download the pilot information packet. That gives you all of the information you need to safely fly into the event. There's a video there to guide you, but please, we ask that you prepare before you hit direct Salinas on your GPS.
Finally this week, they say age is only a number. But for AOPA member Pete Weber Jr. of Cameron Park, California, it's a world record every time he flies. Pete was recently certified as the world's oldest active pilot by Guinness World Records. He's 95 and a half and still counting. He's been a pilot for 72 years.
Wow, congrats, Pete. That's, really something. I hope that I'm still flying at that age. Sort of gives a whole new meaning to keeping them flying.
Very inspiring as well. And that's going to do it for us this week. So glad you joined us.
I'll be back in next week for Tom again. Until then, keep the dirty side down. See you next week.